Yeah, get in there, reach in, buddy. Remember Mark saying that to Steven while they were at the tomb in the first half of this episode? This made me laugh, but not for the reason the director intended, probably. I just couldn't stop thinking about the question if that is what Mark would say to Steven in the bedroom with Layla. Yeah, get in there, reach in, buddy.
Just put that there, one here, more.
Just giving commentary during the deed, you know? I mean, prove me wrong, but go back to the episode and don't tell me Mark talked a little bit dirty to Steven there. Seriously, you will not be able to unhear this. Now let's get serious about Moon Knight episode 4. Hello, fellow Disney Plus watcher. It's nice to talk with you about Disney Plus today. If you love Disney and Disney Plus as much as I do and enjoy talking about it, why not click the subscribe button to stay up to date and give it a like so that more people can find this video. Thanks. Okay, this episode can't really be discussed without spoilers. You have been warned. I am completely blown away by this episode, completely. So do I have a few negatives? Yeah, sure. The first part of the episode felt a little slow. The first scene after the Marvel title card is just a little bit boring of a wrap-up from something we saw in episode 3. Layla and Steven are still in the desert. Steven's unconscious and we see some anonymous henchmen coming in and shooting at them. Of course, I sweated for Layla, but ultimately she fixed it pretty quickly, got the car on fire, and I'm left wondering if this whole scene was necessary in the first place. They could have gone with a time jump, given us the fresh new situation, you know, Steven and Layla traveling, preparing to enter the tomb. The opening scene felt a little random because it didn't really mean anything. I did chuckle when Steven suddenly stood there with a "did I miss something" face. Love the levity in this show. Of course we expect that of Marvel, but moments like these do really work because of it. Other thing that bugged me was once again the music. Not gonna lie, there's some cues in the show that I'm gonna eat up whenever it's released, you know, to listen to, but some of these cues are giving a 200% instead of a 100%. The composer really must be proud of his work, and he should, but it's almost the music is bragging of how epic it supposedly is, and it's taking over the scenes. So the music during the title card, the Marvel Studios title card this week, it was so over the top and just didn't feel right. I'm sorry, loads of respect for any composer that has the skill to tackle a Marvel movie or show, but I need the music to be quieter and blend in more because it's starting to take me out of the show quite a lot. But besides that, you know what I think about some of the jittery camera work if you've been following my videos for the past couple of weeks, but that too improved once again, and I freaking loved the emotional complexity, then the thrill ride, then the complete WTF reaction I had. It makes me love the show. You know what the stuff between Mark and Steven reminded me of in this episode? And it's weird that I didn't think about this sooner, about an undercover guy wearing a wire and the other always listening. But I love that that is not the case, but that dynamic is more psychological. And seriously, Steven's theory on muscle memory got me all like, wow. I mean, this triggers me. I love what they're doing, questioning how much is this body Steven's whenever Steven's in control, and the other way around, does the body learn independently? That question ultimately boils down to, is the subconscious mind shared or are there two different ones? Muscle memory is just the process of the subconscious mind. It's not literally every single muscle in your body containing a small little brain to think with. We call it muscle memory, even though that's not really the correct term if you think about it, but they leave that question open for us to think about. I never would have thought a Marvel Studios property would have me wondering about stuff like this. And as I mentioned before, we cannot underestimate how the humor that mainly comes from Steven elevates this show from a dark and grim psycho adventure, at least this episode was, to a purely entertaining show with elements that are dark and grim and psycho. Steven's a fanboy, kind of like a British, slightly more disordered Peter Parker. I loved when he said like, oh, you know what would be great? If they came to life and if they could speak a riddle for passage, I'd be thrilled. He's like Tom Holland's Spider-Man coming into Avengers Tower for the first time. It's that kind of excitement, and the Indiana Jones, Tomb Raider vibes are there and exciting, but I didn't expect this show to get so dark. To introduce zombie mummies eating the intestines right out of some guy's body, I was disgusted, but it kept me on the edge of my seat. The stakes were high, and the zombie's hand reaching out on multiple different places within the stone wall with Layla at the edge of a cliff, I love love that. It's pure horror. A hand without a body trying to grab you is a scary jump scare horror trope, and I love that Marvel doesn't shy away. Makes me excited for Multiverse of Madness, which also seems to be going for some horror vibes with Sam Raimi at the helm and everything. I got my tickets anyways. Stoked. But this moment where Layla was finally on the other side of the pit and then got pulled away into the darkness, it really felt weird when she returned once again and then got pulled in again. Did you notice that? It's like back and forth. It felt like she was part of a theme park ride for a few seconds as a puppet gimmick riding on a cart back and forth. It was a really strange dolly kind of shot or something. Did you notice that too? Please let me know, because maybe it's my head working in mysterious ways. I did find Layla's scream at the end of the scene after she dumped the body in the pit. I get that she's traumatized, but for the scene it just felt a little much. In terms of plot or character, nothing major happened, right? So the scream feels a little too dramatic. There's so much to talk about. Let's talk about the Tomb Buster scene. Yeah, probably everybody is saying that, but I believed too it was a real movie when I saw it. They shot this with just the right lenses, just the right prosthetics, and just that little too fake looking props. I love it. The scenes in the crazy asylum are now my favorite scenes in the show. Loved the hints of the goldfish, the crowd drawing with Khonshu's head. You're constantly wondering, is this the real thing? Is everything we saw in the show so far fake? And the scenes move towards a not a final conclusion, but I do think we learn more on that, as Arthur Harrow, as the therapist, does seem to know what Mark knows about what has been previously happening. And this reveal was incredible. Mark and Steven are two different persons. You know, this is what I briefly talked about last Sunday in the Your Thoughts video. I kinda hoped they were going for a twist where we somehow find out everybody's doing stuff to Mark and or Steven, and we find out this guy is the only sane one, that we get this hero's journey where we discover that our hero is not crazy at all, but manipulated into this position where everybody sees him as crazy, or he sees himself as crazy. And I think this is the turning point where we get that hint of what's to come. Oscar Isaac's characters are too. I am slightly disappointed maybe that the secret Mark held about Layla's father was simply I was there that night, which we've seen so much of these twists. I thought maybe Mark would have made a deal with Khonshu in the past that cost the life of Layla's dad, something like that. I don't know why, but I expected a reveal like that, so this felt a little underwhelming, but the revelation scene was very well acted, by the way. Who is that hippo? I don't know. I'm slightly nervous that it gets a little too goofy maybe in the final 2 episodes. But I don't want to be a piss. I'm still very hyped for next week. If I think about it, more nitpicks and small negatives than I expected when I started writing the script. But hey, no big criticisms. What a funny, adventurous, mysterious, and terrifying chapter of Moon Knight this was. Now it's up to you. What did you think about this 4th episode? Let me know in the comments below, and add D+ on the top of your comments if you want me to give my thoughts on your thoughts in the coming Sunday video. I'm thinking about wrapping this up. Thank you so much for watching. If you're interested in my thoughts on previous episodes, you'll find it right here or in the description below. Did you like this video? Then there's the simple way to show support. Thank you so much. I'll be back this Sunday with a new Your Thoughts video. For now, have a wonderful day and see ya.